everybody, how you doing? Looks like we made it to yet another Wednesday. How's everything going? Thank you so much for hanging out with me here on this Wednesday. Really appreciate it. Wednesday after the 4th of July, the 6th of July. So I hope everyone had a great holiday weekend here in the States. Those of you Canada guys, hope you all had a great Canada Day. So, okay, so let's say hello to some people here. We have Mr. Mike Deloach just outside of Atlanta. We have Steve Lang. How you doing, my friend? Just out in the UK. And we have Total Pain, John Payne from upstate New York. And we have Color Graphics. Mr. Roy, happy birthday, my friend. 39 is not an easy age, definitely. Let's see. We have Clutch Patrick. How you doing from Massachusetts? And we have that's Patrick, of course. And we have Jamie. Jamie, how you doing? Let me know where you're from. I always like to know where people are from. It's so important. So I'm so glad you're here, Jamie. Thanks for hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. Yes, Mike, trying to get some the blood going in the beginning of our live streams with some music. And I thought that's a nice way to introduce. So, hey, how you doing, Willie? How you feeling? And Willie's from Massachusetts. Wendy, how are you? Oh, Wendy is Jamie. So Jamie, just outside of Dallas, Texas. Raul, how are you, my friend? Jersey boy, just like myself. Color Graphics, Roy is a Jersey guy as well. And let's see who else we have. Great group of people. So this time I remembered where everyone is from. You got to give me props for that, everybody. You know, I mean, that's not bad, right? You know, you guys are important to me, and I just I know by remembering where you're from, at least that's some indication that I put my money where my mouth is, so to speak. John Diekman from Wisconsin, how are you, sir? Great to see you. And how is the hybrid work from home thing going, Mr. John? So right now I'm going to be working with one of the airbrushes I'm making for somebody. This is the custom Extreme Patriot Arrow, and what we're going to do is we're going to be painting with a customized airbrush that's shipping out tomorrow. So just making sure everything is perfect. I already gave it 6 hours of testing, and you can see everything is tip-top with this so far. And we're just going to confirm that by working tonight with this airbrush. Just the detail that we can get is just amazing. And so very cool. And so let me get a sip of water. Yes, that Badger sale was incredible. 20% off. Plus, if you spend more than $100, you get like a free airbrush. So that's incredible. That was really great. Mr. Ken did that. So that is really fantastic. So, okay. So let me get my reference over here. And we're just going to jump right into it. So we're working on basically really getting to the point where we're starting to get the translucency in her skin. So we have this really nice beautiful light coming down here, but it's only light when you put the corresponding dark value next to it. So I'm about 3 inches away, and I'm just going to darken this a little bit here. And what's that going to do? It's going to pop out this highlight, right? And that's what we want to do. We want to pop out the highlight. The highlight won't be a highlight if the values around it are too light, right? So you have to make sure that you have a dark next to it to make that highlight pop out, right? Oh, very cool, Mike. But Mike didn't order it for me, so you're gonna go ahead and And customize it yourself, or are you going to be working with it as it comes from the factory, sir? Which is cool too. Very cool. Very, very cool. It's a great airbrush. It really is. One of the best ones on the market. So I'm going to zoom in and just make sure. Hey Colette, how are you? All the way from Wisconsin. How you doing? Great to see you as always. So when I'm blown up, I go ahead and I focus it blown up, and this way I know it's focused. Then I just go out, and this way I know I have a perfect focus. The beauty of using a DSLR, you know. Yes, happy birthday to Roy. Roy is 39, like Jack Benny. Oh, Rochester, right? As Jack Benny used to say. So let's see. I want to really accentuate Raquel's beauty here. So let's do that. Raquel has some cute little dimples here, so we got to make sure that we show them, right? You know, so what Harvey Dinnerstein said to me, when you're painting, you want to find out what makes this person that you're painting an individual and accentuate that. And that's how you get the character of whoever you're painting, right? So whether, you know, Mike Tyson is like short and powerful, you're going to accentuate that. Marilyn Monroe is sultry and mysterious, you're going to do that. And that's basically, you know, you want to find out, or whatever strikes you as something about that person that makes them an individual, and you want to amplify that, right? And that's where you find the character of. Thank you so much, Colette. Colette says Raquel is coming out gorgeous, so I appreciate that. So right here, I'm a little overzealous with this dark on the side of her dimple, so we're just going to calm that down. So ask any questions that you have out there. You know, the thing is, if I do the most amazing live stream and the most amazing painting, it means nothing if I'm not helping somebody, okay? So my main reason for doing this is to help somebody. And if I can do that, then I'm very happy, you know? And remember, that is the reason for all of this. Oh, thank you. Willie says he thinks it's crazy that I can remember everyone's home state. I appreciate that. Well, you all are very important to me. And it's just my way of showing, you know, your importance and how this live stream doesn't mean anything without you all. So, again, what I'm doing is I'm going to zoom in on the area I'm working so you can see. So there's two different things that are going on here. So not only am I just getting the values, right? So I am getting the values. You know, we can definitely make me smaller. Okay. I'm melting. I'm melting. Okay, there we go. And so now we are going to go ahead and kind of feather this dark here, and that's really important because it shows the direction, the pattern or the grain of the skin, right? Hey, Clutch says Tim, next live show is wearing the Riddler costume, and he's gonna play the name and age game. That would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool if I could actually be successful at it. Definitely there, Patrick. And I don't know about that. The old Riddler, he kind of, you know, was quite revealing in that costume, if you know what I mean. I don't think I'm ready for that. So definitely the newer. Air Todd, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you all the way from San Diego. You are the best. Oh, Wendy says awesome job on the teeth. Still a work in progress, but we're getting there. And so it's important to darken those teeth, just like when I was saying here, if I darken the teeth, then the highlights really have something to pop off of, right? So it's always darkening those values, so important, so very crucial. And you see the light kind of extends over here, you know? And hey, where's JC? Hey JC, how you doing? Hey Zeus, good to see you, my friend. Are you feeling better? Just outside of Atlanta, Mr. Jesus. So glad you're here. That is cool. Got a great group today already, which is amazing, and I'm very thankful for that. Thank you very much, everybody, for hanging out with little old me. And let's see if we can learn something. Any question you have is a good question. I don't care what it is. Please ask it. It's my pleasure. You want to know who's buried in Grant's tomb? The capital of New Mexico? Right? It doesn't matter. And you can see how that white is really, really important. And still looking for that grain of the skin. Also, her Cupid's bow, when she's smiling, is kind of stretched. So we have to indicate that, right? So when she's relaxed, then the Cupid bow is, has shadow. But right now, it has quite a little bit of light is hitting her Cupid's bow underneath her nose. These little things that you find out have big dividends in getting a portrait. Oh, Wendy says Santa Fe. Very cool. Well, Wendy has connections. She goes there often to New Mexico, so she knows. Hey, Nameless, how you doing? Good to see you. 5 hours today? Oh man, I don't know if I could do 5 hours. That would be cool though. Be like those radio stations that do like 9 hours of commercial-free rock and roll, you know? And so you see how her Cupid's bow is very light because she's smiling, and she has an amazing smile, and is very energetic and contagious. Definitely contagious in person. Let's see. 1,000 questions in the last 2 minutes. Oh man, you know what? 5 hours? Oh man, that would be rough. What was the longest live stream I ever did? That's a good question. I wonder what it was. A little more space here. So I'm just going to make sure I give a little more space than I have from her top lip to this area right here. Oh, 2.5, definitely. I did do 2.5 one time. Wow, 6 hours and 30 minutes. That's painful. Oh, 2.5. Yes, I think I did 2.5 one time. And you see how we stretch out the Cupid's bow here. Stretch out this light, and then we'll bring this up here just like that. Very important aspect of Raquel's smile we're working on now. These little areas, seemingly minor, are crucial. Cake, yes, definitely. We need cake. What is the unladdened weight of a shadow? Very interesting. I don't know what unladden is, but let me know, John. That seems very interesting. And oh, JC, that the 6 hour wasn't painful. That's something. And Mike Deloach says total pain Asian or South American. Wow, okay. That's getting deep. How does a 2.5 pound bird carry a 5 pound coconut? Probably with a lot of effort. And wow, could you imagine that, huh? And Willie says he watched, oh, you watched that yesterday? Wow. Oh, Monty Python. Oh, okay, that's hilarious. I love Monty Python. That was a great show when I was a kid. The parrot's dead. Lovely plumage, you know. And now we'll move over just a little bit here. And we'll work on the highlights on the shadow side. And it is, we want to make sure that we don't just do a solid shape, because it is kind of specular. And so different things could cause a specular highlight. One of the things that could cause a specular highlight is that it's a small light source, and the kicker light from the side and behind her was a very small flash, and that's why you get more of the specular highlight on this side. And I thought that was interesting. Now on the right side, camera right, it was a huge light source, a huge box. And you can tell by the catch light right here that, you know, it was a huge box on this side, so that's why this side is much softer. And so let me show you. So you can see how this side has much softer light, and here is kind of very strong, more hard light. So the difference between hard and soft light has to do with the light source. Smaller light source, smaller flash head, is going to be a small hard light. And when on the right side, camera right, we have a large light source, we can see we have a much smaller light over here. So very interesting how that works. Yes, catch light. So, you know, there's a video I did on my YouTube channel about the different lights, about a catch light, it'll also be called a rim light. You have a hair light, you have your key light, you have your fill light, all these different lights. And so if we want to be painters, we have to learn how to be photographers. Thank you, Colette, I appreciate that. So photography is key to being a great painter. We're not talking about the old masters, they didn't have photography, but I'm finding out more and more that the people who understand light the best are physicists and photographers. So we definitely have to you know, learn from both of them, because the more you know about light, the better your paintings are going to be. It's so simple, yet thank you, Willie, I appreciate that. If we understand light and embrace that, think of how much more dynamic our work's going to become, right? Understand the light, and you're going to create paintings that are going to be above and beyond what you thought was possible for yourself. And the more that I study light, the more that I study photography. Now, I'm not talking about, just the photography. Hey, Patty, how you doing? All the way from Illinois. So, the important thing is you want to learn studio flash photography. Why studio flash photography, you ask? Well, why can't I be a natural light photographer? Well, because you're just painting the light that's there. You're not manipulating the light. You're not understanding how light works. When you are creating the light, with flash, you are understanding everything about the light. And people say, well, I can't afford the expensive photography equipment. It's not true. You can get a used camera like the Nikon D80. You can get that camera for $100. If you have less of a budget, you can get the D60 for $60. And sometimes you can find some of those camera bodies for even less. And you can get what is called a nifty 50, right? And that's a 50 millimeter. That is a portrait lens. That's what I took this photo with, a 50 millimeter lens. And that's only $120. And Canon has it. Nikon has one of them. So definitely go in that way. Oh, listen to that. So Todd says if anyone sends a super chat, he'll match it. Thank you so much, Todd. That's great. So Todd is really cool. What a great supporter of the channel. Thanks, Todd. I appreciate that. Wendy says Nikon takes better cameras, better portraits than Canon. Interesting you should say that. I really think it has to do with taste. I'm kind of a Canon guy now. I used to be a Nikon guy. And depending on what colors you like, whether you like quick focusing, then if you like, richer, kind of more fleshy, vibrant flesh color, then I would say definitely Canon's your person, your camera company. But if you like soft, kind of painterly colors that just look like a fine art photograph, then I definitely say, hey, Nikon's your brand. So, Clutch, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. So that is amazing. So thank you so much, Patrick. Hey, Mr. Steve, how you doing? Cool to see you today. And so that is great. So, yeah, so Colette says loves her Nikon but can't beat Canon color. There's something about the Canon color science that's really quite amazing, right? It's really amazing. But if you want something that is like really fine art and, really something that, really has that kind of old world kind of feel to it. Blue, how you doing? Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that so much. You are great. And you guys, Patrick and Blue, thank you for the super chat stickers. It goes a long way in keeping me encouraged and also helping out with the bills and everything. So definitely appreciate that so much. It really makes a big difference, guys. It really, really does. I just hope you know how much it means, and I express that. Thank you so much, and that is amazing. Let's see if I missed any. So yes, so you can't go wrong with Canon. You can't go wrong with Nikon. Those are the ones that I really do push. And I would go with DSLR because you can get used DSLR cameras much cheaper than mirrorless. And I still think DSLR cameras really, for dollar for dollar, your DSLRs are the best value out there. Whether it's Canon or Nikon, definitely. you know. So Blue, how is work going? I know you're doing the fire department, so is that going well for you? And you're doing some really great work too, so you're finding time for artwork during all that. So that is great. And you see how I'm following the grain of her skin and also softening up. Oh, here's a very interesting area right under her chin here. She has this most stunning reflected light, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to really pick that reflected light on her chin there. It's so cute. And we're going to go, I like the estrogen is balancing out. Yes, so we got some female people here. Thank you so much, ladies. You are really amazing, and I'm really so honored that you spend your Wednesday here hanging out with us, and it's so important. And Blue says, still flipping. Okay, so what does that mean, still flipping? Is that to my question or someone else's? Michael Oach says, he was shopping for a mirrorless just because I don't want to get a used camera with a super high shutter count. It seems like the affordable DSLRs are, that's the thing. So when you get a Nikon, you can ask them for the shutter count and they'll give you that. So that's a great thing. So so I go on eBay or even K&H, and you can actually talk to the seller, and you can say, what is the shutter count, and they could get it. And if they say, well, I don't know what it is, you just give them one of the websites where you can take one of their JPEGs and you can put that on that website, and it'll tell you what the shutter count is. So that's a great point. You got to make sure that you don't have something crazy like 300,000 or something like that. Wendy says, if it's mirrorless, you can. That is very funny, Patrick. So that's cool. So people are talking about flipping. I don't know what that means. Still flipping. But very cool. And yeah, so if you're ever into it, I can definitely I could help you, Wendy, if you're into a used DSLR. So definitely let me know. I'll definitely help you. And so I have some plans, going into used DSLR. So that's something I'm looking for. Oh, you have a Rebel T2i. You definitely can do a lot with that. I would probably get a little bit of an upgrade because that's a very old camera. So I would, just to get, a little better metering system, stuff like that. I would look into it and see what the T2i actually has. But that's old technology. So it might be okay, but we have to check. Wow, Colette with the $20. Oh my God, thank you. Colette with a $20 super sticker. Thank you so much. What a wonderful thing. I really appreciate it. You all are just really doing fantastic with supporting this channel, and I am so hugely encouraged. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. Colette said Todd motivated her. Thank you so much. That is so great. And Clutch says they would be lining up and down the street for photographs. The vampires. I like that. That is too cool. Great. So yes, Steve actually got a used Nikon 3300, which is a very capable camera. It does incredible things. Even has video. and I think it's a 24 megapixel camera, or maybe a little bit less. But yes, and he has a great lens on it, so he can definitely start doing studio photography using flash. And that's exciting, because that will take him a long way in learning about light and applying that to his painting. So love that he's doing that. And you may ask, Tim, it looks like you're not doing much. I am, but it's not going to reveal what I'm doing until the end, right? So what you're doing is, when you're painting, you're working things out slowly, because you're working out the whole painting, right? So that's very important. JC said, okay, she had surgery on her finger. Oh, and I said the joke, we'll soon be flipping. Now I get it, guys. Thank you. And so that is so cool. So yes, the Nikon 3300, if you find that, it's a very capable camera. Also the D80, I have a D80 and I love it, and it still takes amazing photos. Still takes amazing photos. It really does. And in my mentorship program, which you'll find fascinating, part of the program is that I teach studio photography. So here's my thing, why I teach the way I do. If you go into a college program, and let's say you're going into accounting, right? All your classes are not going to be accounting. They're going to be other disciplines that are going to go ahead and support what you're learning. It might not be accounting 100%, but those other classes that you take are so crucial. So that's why when you study with me in my mentorship program, you're going to learn photography, you're going to learn digital art, you're going to be learning the art of drawing, you're going to be learning how to sell your work, you're going to be learning all these different things. Because I was taught in the art school setting, where it was just a concentration, but where that overall kind of learning. And yes, support your local technical college, definitely. That's very true. And so I make sure that you have the tools to take your work to that next level. And that's what I always want to do, and that's why I have all those. Oh, look at that, Willie, you have a used Nikon D3500. That is a great camera. I recommend you getting a 50mm lens on that. It's a 1.8, so that's a great lens if you find that. I recommend getting the D lens. It's really fantastic. You can do, actually no, you won't want the D lens with that. Yeah, you can use a D lens, but you got to make sure that your lens is not a full frame lens. So you have to get a crop sensor APS-C lens for that. So that is a great camera. So if you have any questions about taking your photography to that next level with flash, I'd be more than happy to direct you with some really great videos and stuff like that. I think you would love it. So definitely, I'm excited that you have that camera. Colette says your camera is a tool. It's the eye of the photographer that counts. So true. Wow, you have the 50mm. You are set, Willie. So if you want to get into taking stunning portraits and professional portraits, you let me know and I will guide you, okay? So that's important. So I actually teach that in my classes. So very, very important. So what I'm going to do now is, before I spray, I have the detail mixture in here, right? The detail mixture. And what I'm going to do is I am going to, so here's something I want you all to know. When you're coming down here, always use your pencil first, because we're always better at pencil than we are at airbrush. I don't care who you are or how long you've been airbrushing. You are always better with the pencil. So go ahead and guide your work with the pencil first. And let's see what else we have on information here. Willie, take your pics of your fall. You'll get beautiful colors. And Air Todd says, so we are $40 from that 80, so let's get it to 100. Wow, thank you for that. Listen to that. Todd is really, I really appreciate that, my friend. So you are amazing, Todd. And Wendy says, oh, I have to move your sprinkler. Okay, be careful, don't run. You don't want to fall. And Colette says, Air Todd, you rock, and he does. Patrick says, yeah, I agree. That's an amazing thing you are doing tonight. Yeah, it is, really. Thank you so much, my friend, Mr. Todd, from San Diego. Now, you guys are getting hot weather now, so that's the thing. But I hear San Diego has the best weather ever. So we're going to go ahead and work on this area right here. So here's an amendment to my 1 second rule, okay? Because I do the 1 second rule, and sometimes, like when I give it, I was like, okay, maybe it could be taken, the wrong way, or, So when I do the 1 second rule, I look at my reference, right? And I don't have the air on. I have the air on, but I'm not pulling back. So I look at my reference, right? And then I paint, and then I pull back the air. When I look back at my reference, I push the trigger all the way forward, I look at my reference, and then I pull back the air. So the 1 second rule is always look, but make sure that your trigger is not pulled back, because the second you're not looking, that's when we're going to go awry. Yes, very true, Willie, that's for sure. So the amendment to the 1 second rule, Willie, is that we have to make sure that we are doing the 1 second looking, that we are definitely consciously not pulling back that trigger, because that alone could send us on the wrong path, and we don't want that. So, okay, so we went ahead and darkened this a little bit, this little area here. Now I have to wait for that to dry. Why? Because if that's still wet, I'm going to tear into that paper. We have to make sure that we take care of the paper surface. It's not like super delicate, but if you erase when it's wet, it's not good. That was fast, Wendy. You were quick. So you had to move the sprinkler to the other side of the lawn? That is great. And let's see. Everything is doing okay. Now it's dry. Let's throw some air on that. Just a little bit of air. That never hurts anybody. So this is what I do sometimes. If I'm in the studio and it's hot, I'll just go like this. Make sure I'm not pulling back the trigger, and I just give myself a little bit. Oh, that feels good. So that's something you can do. All you did was move it a bit. Nice. Thank you, Willie. I would love to. That's definitely on the docket, right, on the agenda, is doing a book that is going to be a reference for airbrush artists, right? Something that they'll be able to have in their studio when they're beginning, really help them, but also something that they're going to be, using over and over and over again. So I like that idea, Yes, I have a beard, definitely. I don't know how we're going to go with it, and we're going to see how it looks, right? And we'll test it out. So I'm not going to keep it close to the face. I'm not going to get one of those bushy ones. So we'll see how it goes. I'll take a survey of how many people hate it next week as it starts to grow in. It's a great thing about testosterone. This stuff happens. So that's cool. So now you see I'm really getting into all the subtleties of her face. I'm going to take this guy right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing some of the subtle light values that come down here, because light is hitting this area a little more, just like so. And now that I see this, that it comes a little closer to the corner of her mouth, right? So we're going to do that, and then we're going, and then it changes direction, comes straight down like this. And you sort of find these pathways, right? That's what we want to find, these pathways. They're really great. I love these pathways a lot. And, you know, it's sort of the tapestry that we're looking for. And it's not easy, and it's not going to come right away. And that's one of the reasons why I always say, hey, everybody, make sure that when we're painting, we're not painting the likeness. What are we painting? Quick quiz. We're not painting the likeness, we are painting the... I know you guys are going to come with the answer because you guys are amazing. So Nameless says, off-topic question, has anyone seen any good movies lately? I've been itching for a good movie to watch, haven't heard anything. Wow, Midnight in Paris. Thank you, Colette. That's the Woody Allen film. That is an amazing film. Owen Wilson's in it. And the Marion, I don't know her last name. She's the amazing French actress, is in it. Just a star-studded cast. It really is a lot of fun. Being an artist, you guys are going to love it. It's one of my favorite movies. I actually own it. And let's see. Also, Mike DeLoach says, isn't a new movie, but highly recommended. Mr. Church with Eddie Murphy. Very cool. Wendy says, The Man from Toronto. Here's a good movie if you're a poet. It's free with your Amazon Prime membership. It's just called Patterson. Now, what's cool about this movie is that it is actually takes place in the city I lived in for 5 years. So I know the whole neighborhood that has been filmed. And the guy who plays, who is that? Adam Driver's in it. So he's a great actor from Star Wars and a lot of other great movies. That one is a real, if you're a poet, that's a really good movie. Well written, just beautiful. I love movies that have like symbolism in it and makes you work, you know, with great I'm going to get the Fonz and Porter here, and I'm going to make sure that I get some of the specular highlights here, and so that's important. And let's see, Incognito, that's cool. I'm definitely going to look that up, definitely. So I haven't seen Incognito, so I want to see that. And so Nameless says he's watching, oh, you're watching The Man from Toronto. Very cool. So I'm going to put in some art movies. Here is, this is one of my favorites. If you like Anthony Hopkins, Surviving Picasso. Very good movie. Another good art movie. Great Expectations with Ethan Hawke and Gwyneth Paltrow. That's a good one. The new version. So that's a good art movie. Highly recommend it. I could watch that all the time. Oh, here's a French movie. It's just called Renoir. And it's about the final years of Renoir. You know, Auguste Renoir, the French Impressionist painter. And a very interesting movie. Very, very good. Really love that film. And then for a modern film, for you, you know, modern art fans, this is a movie called Basquiat. It was directed by Julian Schnabel, and it's just really good. I think so many really good actors are in it. Just really good. Actually, you know who's in it? And he plays... It's really cool. In Basquiat, David Bowie plays Andy Warhol, right? So really great film. So highly recommend that. Some of them are free, some of them aren't. Here's an interesting one. It's called Artist and Model. I think you might find it on Amazon. This is also a French movie. Hey Cody, great to see you, my friend. How are you? So glad you're here. How's it going, sir? So that is cool. So Artist and Model is a very good film. Doesn't have any stars, but it takes place in France during the occupation of the Germans, but is of this artist and meeting this this young model. Very interesting film, you know. So very cool, and so very happy to share. And anyone knows any other good art movies, please share. That would be fantastic. And so now I'm going to look. We did some really great things here in her face, which is really nice. So now what we can do is we can work on some areas where we may be neglecting just a little bit, because we're having fun, you know, with her eyes and her wonderful smile and all that. So let's move on to area that we are ignoring. So we are definitely ignoring her shirt, right? Without question. So we are going to come in with the sandpaper. Remember, we have the sandpaper, and then we're going to take some white pastel from a pastel pencil. Now, why do we take the pastel from a pastel pencil? Because it's the hardest pastel out of all the pastels. So if I need to go softer and cover this, I can. So that's why you use the Pitt brand, Pitt Pastel, white pastel, and then you get a paper stump, right? And then you're gonna kind of put that right here, and wow, Girl with a Pearl Earring is one of my faves. That is just an amazing. Colin Firth, I think his name is, and we also have Scarlett Johansson in that film. But it's basically about the model of Girl with a Pearl Earring who posed for that and Vermeer. It's kind of a fictional kind of thing. No one knows exactly what the interaction was between it, but it's very well done, and a lot of the historical areas of like his studio and using the camera obscura are really right on the money. So very good period piece, but not truthful. It's just a lot of liberties were taken, but that's okay. It's a fictional based on an actual painting. I think they call it a biopic, if I'm not mistaken. So this, see how this is kind of flimsy because it's kind of pulled out too far. So if I push it in, now I want to get another one. So I'm going to look for one that's a little more sturdy. And you see how, you know, it's kind of stubby because it's broken? Well, I'm going to show you a trick with these. I show a lot of tricks. That's what I am. Not really a trick. I would say it's more of experience being in the studio. Being locked in the studio. Let's see. Okay. So, we're going to come over here. And everyone needs a tackle box, right? A box where you have all your airbrush stuff. Just a lot of airbrush stuff, right? So we're going to look. I use this little Allen wrench, and I kind of, I'll show you exactly what I do. But I can go ahead and try this at the Allen wrench if I can't locate it. But I think this might do. So I take this, which is a very thin screwdriver, and that's not thin enough. So it has to be super thin, like I'm not super thin. And let's see, so what I want to do is pull this out like so, and then pull this in, and you see how I created a point with this. And that's what you can do. These actually grow because they're kind of coiled paper, right? So let's see if this does the job. If not, we'll find another one. And I'll put my airbrush tackle box away. I have a 6-year-old student, and she is amazing. And we're doing digital art, and we were doing watercolor. It's just we meet every week. And the 6-year-old, she said that she has a rule that she has to put everything away where it belongs. And I'm like, wow, that's really true. So now, because of my 6-year-old student, I am trying to put everything away where it belongs. You see that? Out of the mouth of babes. And now I'm just going to pull this over here. And see how I'm working on the light. As remember, we still have that light that was behind her. I know all this because I took the photo. So that light is just hitting the rim of her shirt there. So that's what I'm understanding the light so much more because I was the one who constructed the light of this painting. So that's where that really helps. And Willie says, me too, but I think I'm too late. Oh, look. Roy says when he grows up he wants to be like me. Oh, man. I want to be like you, Roy and Willie. You guys are great. Definitely. I am the trickster sometimes. I'm glad to hear Cody's doing well. So that's fantastic. And so I didn't know if I caught that. Where are you from, Cody? What part of the States? I'm from Jersey, of course, just outside of New York City, that is. So now I have my reference, and see how we're just a little bit goes a long way. It's not about the shirt, so we want to limit what we do with the shirt, right? I know we really want to get in there, but we really have to create a hierarchy of how much detail we're going to put in different areas, right? So that's why we might just, oh, Wendy was dealing with a booking. Very cool. Interesting. So here's a little tidbit of information here. She has a little crease coming down, right? You see that? A little crease. So what I want to do is I want to attempt to work on that crease. So what I'm going to do initially is I'm going to take my pencil, because remember, pencil, we're always better with the pencil than we are with anything else. Don't care who you are. And we're coming over here. We're going to pull this over, and then I'm just following that crease. And then that crease comes really lightly here and kind of disappears there, right? Let's zoom in, and I'm going to show you my thinking behind this. Now, remember our torn paper technique? So what we want to do is we want to get a shape that's kind of similar to that. So I'm going to take one of my torn papers, right? And, oh, Southeast Florida, very cool. So Cody, are you probably near Southeast? Oh, so Fort Lauderdale, kind of West Palm area, my friend? I actually lived in Florida for about 8 years. I did love it a lot. It was a lot of fun. If that's true, Tim, then I am doomed because I'm horrible with my pencil. Well, I think, Patrick, you don't know how good you are yet. We're going to uncover how good you are with that pencil. Trust me. We are going to do that together. Patrick is in my mentorship program, and he is just kicking butt. So he is doing great. So Nameless says he always dreamed of living in New York, the city that never sleeps. I imagine would be living in two different worlds between night and day. I've always been a night owl myself. I think the best of both worlds is living in the suburbs, so you don't pay a thousand times more with your living expenses, right? And so when you do that, then you can travel into the city. It's only 15 minutes by bus for me to go into the city, and it's about, with no traffic, I can get in the city in 10 minutes. So it really is fast. Now, so I do like that aspect. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want to get in the way with my shadow, so I'm just going to cover this, and then I'm going to put my airbrush down, and I'm going to, getting a wicked shadow here. Let me see if I could come over here. And I just want to find this aspect, and I'm going to cover it with a shallow magnet, because you don't want, there's nothing worse than having little cast shadows. So the great thing about the torn paper is this, that not only is it good and organic, I can test my airbrush right on top of it. You also got to make the decision, what side is the shadow. Make sure you cover the light side so you can paint the shadow, right? So let's come over here, and we're going to do perpendicular and not parallel. And the great thing is, I could peel it, I could come over here, and I can peel it back and say, okay, I think I got what I want. Now let's do the other part as it curls up, right? So I'm going to pull that up with another magnet, and then I want to bring this up like so. Yeah, if you're going to live in New York, you're just going to be fleeced because the rents are just sky high. I don't know anybody, well, I do know people who live in Manhattan, and it's amazing. You have to make a lot of money if you live there, without question. So this side's the light side, so we do the dark side. And I think we're okay. Let's pull away. Yeah, I think we got it. So, minor detail, yes. Does it make a big impact? I think so. It takes your work to that next level. So that's always important. And New York still never sleeps. Very true. And oh, Nameless says he's not a Vegas person, but imagine it. I see some videos now. I follow this one young lady who basically shows what to do in Vegas, and she makes it look really amazing. She has a YouTube channel. Really cool. A nice young lady. Very interesting. Not everything has to do with only gambling, which is really cool, right? Vegas is really cool. You get to do all that stuff, which is a lot of fun. But there's a lot of other things to do in Vegas, such as restaurants and shows. So I definitely am learning about that aspect. And it seems like a nice place to live, right? And, oh yes, so Patrick loves Vegas. Yes. And he has told me a lot about Vegas, so I appreciate that, Patrick. Oh, the shows are awesome, Wendy says. Very cool. Very cool. So it's the 10:30 hour. I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee. We had 20 concurrent viewers. Thank you, guys. You are all amazing. So that's really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the kettle on, and I am going to make myself a cup of coffee. So hang tight. We're going to continue with the crease there. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. I would have my cat make the coffee, but she puts too much cream in. So, okay, so we got the kettle going, which is great. And now we're doing this crease. And, you know, this is next level, as you know what I'm saying, next level stuff. And so we want to be able to really nail something like this crease here. So when it's dry, mind you, you can erase the pencil lines, and now you have a soft crease. And this is like the next level stuff, right? This is stuff you're not going to learn anywhere else, I don't think. And I'm happy to do that for everybody, that's for sure. Who's saying good night? Patty, have a great night. I love the figurines you're doing. They are amazing. Patty's doing these amazing figurines. Keep doing them. I'm really, really loving them. And I hope you have a great night. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. I consider it a great honor. And Nameless says now I'm going to make Nameless One coffee. Yes. Hey, Squeeze, how you doing? Bob, good to see you. Man, Bob is just doing some great paintings. Just unbelievable stuff. Squeeze is really, really wonderful. He actually works in pastel as well. So, really love your stuff, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Brad, how you doing? Good to see you, Brad. And so that is nice. So good to see everybody. This is such a great group. And I'm so happy. Wednesdays make me happy. They really do. Just to see everybody. And as you can see, I'm pulling this up, and she has this little crease that comes up here and kind of wraps around like that. And we don't have to get it exact, but we'll try our best, right? That's what we'll do. And we're just going to work on this. When we come into the white pastel, it's really going to start making sense. That's the one part of my life that makes sense, is art. The other part, not so much. But I really want, and look at the detail. Now, this is an airbrush that I made for somebody. They purchased my customized Extreme Patriot arrow. So remember, if you purchase an airbrush by me, a customized Extreme Patriot arrow, it doesn't leave my studio unless it can do what I do. And this is an 8.5 by 11 painting. So look at the detail that you're getting. And I know it, for $149, it rivals anything out there. It really does. And don't take my word for it, you know. Definitely test it out. You know, here's some of the testimonies that I'm going to be putting on inkflingers.com soon of really happy airbrush artists who have tried it and are very happy. So that's cool. Air Todd says if you send a super chat, he's matching it. Thank you there. That is really wonderful. And I just want to say thank you to Mr. Todd for that. That is just great. You guys are all amazing. Alright, so now we're coming here. I'm going to actually pull this dark here. And I'll zoom out just a little bit so you see I'm working on her shoulder area. And it seems like it's a little dark. That's because everything else around is super light. Right? And the further away, the smoother the spray. Right? So if I'm further away, I'm going to get a nice smooth gradation. If I'm close, it's going to be blotchy, right? So things to really ponder when you're working. Again, well, this is a little less organic. So I do have a curve going on here. So I can definitely take my Fons and Porter and create some of these curves here. Just like way up here, we have this curve. And then over here we have something, I don't know what this is, has something to do with the design of her blouse. And what I'm going to do is just pull this down over here. then this comes up, and then comes up here, like so, and kind of connects, and just bringing that down like that. And then we're going to come in with the white, especially in this little crease area. With the Fons and Porter works really well in these little crease areas. And now using that torn paper really helps us, so that's good, you know. Oh, so Willie says, Tim, soon as my brush got in my hands, it stopped painting like you. Well, I don't know, Willie. So I know with practice you'll kick butt. I have faith in you, and so you've been watching my live streams, and I know that you can paint some really cool stuff. And you know, if you ever need any pointers, you let me know. If you have any questions, you just email me, paintingclips@gmail.com. More than happy to help. Oh, Willie says, Patrick says the brush was homesick. And Willie says maybe you should try another airbrush. I appreciate that, sir. And so as you see there, I'm a little strong with that. So even though it's the Fons and Porter, watch what I can do. I can just tap it, and as I tap it, I pull off just a little bit of that pastel. So it's still there, but it's very faint, right? So that's good. And then right here along this edge, I have a little bit of a darker value right along the edge here. Not as dark as the dark there. But what we're doing, hey, Mr. Bob Squeeze, thank you so much for this super chat. I really appreciate it. This goes so, I really am touched by that, everybody. You know, it is really amazing. It just lets me know I'm doing the right thing and on the right path. And you know, when I know if I have the right intentions, and thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Bob. And if I have the right intentions, and it's really to help people, and I know that, you know, like the whole thing with Field of Dreams, right? When the ghost tells him, if you build it, they will come. And I really feel that way. You know, if I just do the live stream and just keep, you know, the focus on why I did it in the first place, everything will work out. And I really feel that is the case, and I know that's going to happen. And tonight is just like affirmation that if I stick with that and with the right focus, it's going to be yes. Oh, great path. Thank you so much. Yes, the right path is so important. So yeah, and look, Willie says that Wendy needs automatic sprinklers, and so that is cool. So right here you'll see that there's a little tiny reflected light right under this shadow here. It's so tiny, but really if we hit it, it's going to make a big difference. And then right here, that reflected light comes here. And I better go make my coffee real fast before the cat actually makes it with too much cream. And Mike says, we're painting baseball fields. Yes, baseball, chess, it's all connected. I'll be right back. Cleaning up the French press. Okay, we are ready to go. So I have hazelnut creamer, Colombian coffee, great people, artwork, and a live stream. Hey Brad, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate that, my friend. That is amazing. Thank you so much for the amazing support, my friend. Brad has been a student of mine for 2.6 years now. Really, he has come along so well. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. It is really amazing. That means the world to me. Thank you so much. You all are really even. I got a super chat while making coffee. That's not bad. So I should have brought the camera with me, right? So Wendy says, put sugar in it? Oh, yes, hazelnut creamer. And then Wendy says, and bring your kitty cat so she can hear the... Oh, yeah, she's so cute. You know what's really interesting about my cat? Normally, she'll wait, and because I have my classes, right, in my studio, you know, with the mentorship program. She'll wait, like, over there. And when the class is over, she actually knows what I'm saying, and she comes and says, you know, what she wants. Hello, you know, she meows what she wants to eat or something. So she'll wait till class is over, and I find that super fascinating. So thank you again, Brad. You are great. And oh, Mike, have a great night. Always a pleasure, my friend. Enjoy the new airbrush. If you have any questions on the airbrush when it comes, you let me know, and I'm more than happy to help out. So that's my pleasure. So Mike, thank you for hanging out, and great buys with that Badger sale. That was really good. They had a great sale. I think today's the last day. You still have time. Great. So now we are doing pretty good with the blouse there. So we're going to bring in the lighter areas. Sorry, I have a itch there. And so what I'm going to do is come here, and I'm just going to continue with the white and bring that in. And you can see little by little we're bringing that together. You know, we're taking a little attention away from her face by putting a little more attention to other areas, which is really good because it's all connected, you know. And you gotta have your good supporting cast, such as folds and things like her hat. Without them, it wouldn't be as powerful a painting. So that's something that we really always have to pay attention to. Not always the fun areas like her smile and her eyes, but also the not so fun areas like folds and background and stuff like that, right? And so now I can see that we can bring some of this light over here, kind of calm down some of the really darks that we put in. So with the white pastel, you can go over the airbrushed India ink without worrying about blue shifts. But you have to do it sparingly. So if I was to put white paint on this with the airbrush, then you just open up Pandora's box to a lot of issues that you're going to have to fix. Why open that box? White pastel is always the better answer. So that's the way I am. I'm going to go for, when it comes to painting, the path of least resistance. And that is great. If you love Pandora's box, remember you let in all that other stuff, but the only thing you have is hope. So I like hope, but I like other stuff besides hope, you know? And so yes, so Pandora's box is cool, but we definitely don't want to open it up. Let's see. So, and we're bringing that over here. And this is a little strong, so I'm just going to calm this down a little bit of white pastel. See that? Now, I'm not going completely black. I wouldn't put the white pastel up here. I'm talking about the very light areas. You can rub some white pastel to lighten that up, you know. Oh, Mr. Steve says he's off to bed. It's 3:50 a.m. Thank you so much for hanging out, my friend. Always a pleasure, Mr. Steve. And thank you for sharing the information about your Nikon 3300. That is a great camera, and you're taking some great pics with that, sir. And I hope you have a great evening. So that's cool. All the way from the UK, he stays up late to watch my live streams. That's very touching. Thank you, sir. No time like the present to get rid of some pencil lines, right? We can get rid of them and come back in. And so here we have a little crease down her sleeve, but what we have also is this little light area, right? You know, you have a dark on the crease and you have the light. So let's go ahead and hit that light there. I think we might have just one more episode next week, and we'll be able to sign this amazing painting of someone I went to high school with, Raquel. Very, very nice person. And see that little crease, how we did that? That's cool. So that is great. And Steve, oh, so that's cool. So Steve is a student of mine doing great work, just fantastic. Really an honor to work with him in the mentorship program. Just really fantastic. And we're just going to bring this up here. And see how we can work on those creases. But one of the things is, when you're working on folds, see that hard edge? We have to be careful of the hard edge, because then it's going to look not like the folds. Remember, the folds, when they're turning slowly like that, when things are more round, they're going to be more gradual from light and dark. So you see how this is like really harsh? So how to make that round as it is in our reference photo, what we have to do is we have to make sure that we make this a little more gradual. So we're just going to rub that in and make this turning a little more gradual. See how we do that? So we can put the white pastel in. We can also bring in our eraser and kind of erase out some of the darks, kind of make that lighter and make that turn slower. Remember, something that's more angular, like a 2x4, it's going to have a light and the dark's going to drop off really quick, but something round like this fold is going to have a very slow turning from light to dark. But let's compare and contrast. Like this part right here, it's very angular and it's not so rounded, so you have this kind of fast drop off from light and dark, which is interesting. And Nameless says, those of you who are still in touch with their high school friends are a lucky bunch. Yeah, I do. Facebook has been great. I have been in touch with quite a bit. I always feel, and I'm sure we all feel that way, that our high school group was very special. And I feel that way too. Notice I just use a post-it note to get that hard edge there. And then I'm just going to show off my Extreme Patriot arrow. And we're just going to pull in this dark here. See that? See how I'm able to really get in there? Right on that edge. With an intensely detailed airbrush like this, you don't need stencils all the time, because you know you have control and this ability to get these like really beautiful fine lines. Now look how small that line was. That was right there, so that was like really super tiny. So one of the advantages of having a detailed airbrush. And Patrick says most of his have passed, so most of you have passed away. I'm really sorry to hear that, my friend. And you're a young guy, so that's rather tragic. Oh, this is good. And of course on my mug you see the Extreme Patriot arrow right there. That's really neat. And Extreme Patriot arrows on my shirt. Wendy says, are you sure this isn't just easy for you as a pencil? No, I'm still better with the pencil. But yeah, but thank you for that. Yeah, still pencil is still edging out. I mean, the edging out the airbrush. But I love my airbrush. I love airbrushing, and I'm sure everyone here loves. And that's the thing. You know, if my channel got big and I had 1 million views, or, you know, my work sold for a lot, and I wasn't available for you guys and girls to inspire you, then all the success in the world would mean nothing. What is success? It really means nothing. The beauty of it, the beauty of getting technical success is, to me, is to share it with you all, and you all can become better artists and get more joy in your work. That's one of the things that I really admire about Bob Ross, is that you really knew he was trying to help people, no matter how big his show got and all of that. The focus was really on the person who was watching him, and that's my focus, and I really want to do that. And so Willie says I need a tattoo of the Extreme Patriot arrow on my chest, right? Like Danny Trio, he has that Mexican guy, right? That would be cool. Ah, thank you. And yes, Squeeze, definitely. None of the success or ability that we have means anything if we can't share and inspire somebody with that. And I really feel that that's important. I was really pondering that before the live stream. You know, if we're just a clanging cymbal if we do not have the love of doing it. And, you know, if I kept it to myself and said, you know, this is great, I love airbrushing, but if I don't share it with as many people as I can, then it really means nothing. We are in Promise tomorrow, that's true. And, oh yeah, I would go shirtless, right? Just pump iron, you know? And that would be cool. I'd have to mist myself, right? And get bronzed. I probably would get a lot more subscribers, but I definitely would have to get back to the gym. That is funny. Badger needs to pay me some royalty. Well, that's the thing. Badger is really good to me. This channel has such a great relationship with Ken and Badger. They really help me, you know, in any way I ever need anything, they're right there. And so I'm so glad of my relationship. And it's funny, and I'll tell you a little backstory. It all started back in 2018, and I remember I wrote and I called up Iwata and said I wanted to work with Iwata, and they said, oh, we'll call you back. And I'm like, okay. And then they didn't call me back, so I called them, and they definitely screened my calls and ignored me and never called me back. So I left a message on Ken from Badger. I said, you know, I just want to reach out to you guys. I hope you guys are going to treat me better than Iwata did. And I know I told this story, and for those who already heard it, bear with me. This big guy, big tall guy gets out of the car. I'm outside doing yard work, and this big guy gets out of the car. I don't know him, and he walks towards me, and he says, "Are you Timothy John Luke Smith?" And I'm like, "Oh man, did I accidentally mess with his girlfriend or something? I don't know. I'm gonna have a fight here." And then he says, "Hi, I'm Ken from Badger. And I just want to let you know, not only do I return your call, but I show up and I want to deliver these 2 airbrushes I want you to try." And believe me, from that point on, I was a Badger guy. I was sold, because that is the kind of company that I want, you know, where And I was a real, you think I'm a little guy now. I was a teeny tiny guy in the airbrush world back then. And one of the airbrushes was the regular Extreme Patriot Arrow. And so the rest is history. So what a great story, right? And thank you. So Cody says his feed is taking a turn. A good turn or a bad turn? Hopefully a good turn. So Willie said, I seen a show about Bob Ross. It was sad. Very true. Let me know, Cody, if it's a turn that you didn't want to hear. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the live stream. You know, I never want to go off on a tangent when it becomes boring or anything like that. But I just wanted to share why, you know, one of the reasons why I like Badger, you know. Thank you, Wendy. Wendy says the live stream rocks. I appreciate it. You guys are great. Yeah, the Bob Ross story is sad, but it's also a story of triumph, right? And so thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate it. Wendy says highlight of the week when she can come and don't have a migraine. Thank you, Wendy. You guys and girls' participation is really important to me. So thank you for hanging out on a Wednesday. You definitely could be doing other things, and I really do appreciate it so much. The Ross story is that title. But one of the great things that I do love about the Bob Ross story is that he was just doing, I think he was in like a retirement community or a community center, and he was just doing these little free demonstrations of his technique. And someone who was a PBS director actually discovered him. Thanks, Cody. Yeah, we don't want it shirtless. I can definitely understand that. Yeah, that would definitely be the wrong direction, Cody. Thanks. That's true. Yes, he was, and that was when he retired from the military. He was actually a drill sergeant. And what a great story. And you know, so that's a really nice story of triumph, that he was doing it just for the love, helping out people, and someone discovered him, and the rest is history. And of course I hope something like that happens, you know, where I could, you know, I love my small groups, don't get me wrong. You guys are great. This is a great community of people. I get to know where everyone is from and really get to know everybody. That is fantastic. But also part of me wants it to grow so I can reach more people and bring more of the love of airbrushing. That airbrushing is for anybody. It's not an impossible thing or only for people who have, you know, a great technical mind, right? It's for anybody. It really is just learning the basics and just doing the fundamentals over and over again, and you'll get control as the best airbrushers out there. And happy accident, so true. He also dealt with depression. That's kind of a bummer, definitely. Oh yes, Willie. Yeah, the Iwata never showed up at my house. No, and and they wouldn't even call me back. What a bummer. Brad says, Tim, we'll give you an extra super chat if you promise to keep your shirt on. And I think a lot of people would, so that might be, I could actually like threaten to go shirtless, and that would be a way to make you guys give super chats. That's hilarious. The producers took advantage of his legacy. Yeah, that does happen. I always say, you know, in business, we always have to keep an eye on everybody. Even though we want to be super trusting, in business, it kind of is you always hear the horror stories about people trusting when they shouldn't, you know. I think Iwata got lost, and that's what happened. Yeah, they were, who knows where they were. Maybe they were at a SEMA show or something. Iwata's a great company, great airbrushes. No one has a presentation of Iwata, that's for sure. So they definitely are a great airbrush company. I'll give them that, definitely. I would be silly not to. They're great airbrushes. But, you know, they fill a certain niche, right? Same thing with the Badgers and my Extreme Patriot Arrow. They fill a niche. They're geared for a specific artist, right? And that's important. And Wendy says she has a bunch of Iwatas. You know, I have one left. I don't use it anymore because I love the Extreme Patriot Arrow. But yeah, I sold all of my custom microns. I sold them, and the great thing about Iwata is that they have really high resale value because I got a very good rate on selling them. So definitely am transparent about that. Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an aggressive eraser, and on her shirt we have a nice reflected light here. So let's go ahead and put that reflected light. Remember the light coming from behind her? So that is still in effect. So we're going to make sure that we show this reflected light. Remember, that was a small light source. A small flash is going to create a specular hard shadow. So I hope that helps, you know. And let's see what people are saying, what you guys are saying. And let's see, three's a bunch. And Nameless says, all's fair in love and war in business, especially business buyers beware. Yes, you always want to make sure you trust the person that you're purchasing from, and they have the right fundamentals. And Bob says he honestly put his Harder and Steenbeck Infinity 2 in one aside when he received the Extreme Patriot Arrow. That is an amazing, amazing testimony. Bob, may I use that quote on my website when I'm fixing it? That would be wonderful, Bob. Thank you. So, see, testimony like that really, really makes me excited. And I'm going to bring this white down, which is good. Oh, so Mr. Patrick says he has 3 airbrushes, 3 of the Iwatas, and they all give him attitude. Oh no! And Squeeze says yes, use it. Thanks, Bob. I am going to. I'm going to be doing a landing page for that. So that's another thing I'm getting into, which is, you know, Wendy is really good at web design, so I'm definitely working on that now. We're getting so close. So we're going to work on her shirt on this side as well, and then we could definitely work on her hair and get that going. And then next week is going to be the finishing touches, and that's just amazing. Mr. Tone, how you doing? Great question. Cody asks, what's the needle size? So yes, the needle size on my custom Extreme Patriot Arrow is a 0.30, and this is the one I've been working on all night, is the one that I'm shipping out tomorrow, and so that's very exciting. And a 0.30, and why this works so well is because I changed out the needle, not the stock needle that you get with the Extreme Patriot Arrow, and I also sand it, and so the needle comes out further. And with the aerodynamics, you get like custom micron 0.17 detail in a 0.30 needle. So that's really cool. So that's very cool. So so glad you're here, Mr. Tone, all the way from Queens, New York. Right. And Run DMC was from Queens, I think. I think they were from Jamaica. And you're from that area, aren't you? Out there by Jamaica, right? If I'm not mistaken. I lived for years in Astoria, Queens, and that, of course, is near the river. That's near East River. So you just take the 59th Street Bridge right over to Manhattan. When I was there, I was in junior high school in Queens, and I was able to go and apply for the High School of Art and Design. And so that really kind of, oh, Hollis, not too far. Okay, Tone's really tired doing a lot of work, and that's true. But he's doing some great work. He really is, really kicking butt. And so that's, oh, you're from Far Rockaway. Oh yeah, great beach there. I love Rockaway Beach. That was cool. Used to go body surfing there when I was a kid. Did not do well, you know. I am not a seagoing person, so that was not a good choice. I'm just going to clean this up, her shirt a little bit, and kind of work this out. And then what I'm going to do is come in with a little bit of white pastel, because this area is facing the light. So always ask yourself, look for the areas that are facing the light. And this is one, cat hair. When you are, whatever's facing the light is going to get more white, right? So that's one for the book, Willie. Whatever is facing the light is going to get more white. So keep that little saying in your head when you're using the white pastel. Always look, is this area facing the light more? And if it is, make sure that you go ahead and represent that, you know. Clutch says he's tired, doing no work for weeks. Being a potato is exhausting. No, you're doing work. And you weren't feeling well, my friend. So look, the cat hair is on my thumb there. Okay. See, what happens is, she's over there, and the fan takes the hair from when she's shedding and kind of blows it in my way. Oh, it's already in the book. Thank you so much, Willie. I appreciate that, sir. And that is so cool. And so we're just going to continue with that. Whatever is facing the light is going to get more white. And then we're going to do some really cool things. After we get here, I am going to work on the necklace. We'll zoom in and we'll see how just the simplest thing. So we were talking about the movie Girl with a Pearl Earring. And we have to look at the old masters and how they simplify things. The thing with photorealism is that it's a great thing, but you can get too much into detail that everything becomes so important. But we have to make a hierarchy of importance. And I'll show you a little later with Girl with a Pearl Earring what I mean. And so Squeeze says, liking your fabric folds highlights, they echo and point to the facial features. Exactly. Thank you so much, Bob. So yes, so remember, I always keep the star of the show a little bit more detailed than everything else, and the contrast a little stronger in the eyes with the light and dark. And by doing that, I'm going to create that sort of hierarchy of attention. So we as artists, our job like a director is to direct the eye of the viewer, right? So always think of that. That's a very great point. Thank you. Clutch says he likes the detail in the folds. I appreciate that. And Willie, yes, I have an old video on fabric folds, and he says it's very good. That's amazing. You mentioned that. I think I did that 4 years ago. It's one of my most viewed videos. I think it has something like 35,000 views. It's really cool. It's one of those that in my little world it went viral. The only other video I have is on a pastel portrait I did in 2007, and that one has like 65,000 views. And Air Todd says, Tim, are you going to sell needles for the Extreme Patriot Arrow? No, probably not, but I'll definitely direct you where you need to go with Badger. I do have the emergency needles when your regular needle goes. I definitely will sell them like a backup needle, but it doesn't come out as much. So, but it will be good to have. It definitely will be good to have a backup needle. So yes, I've definitely put them on the website so you guys can see them that would be great. And so now we're doing this. We're going to come over to this side, and we're definitely going to need our freehand shield, because, let me see if I could, we're going to zoom in on this part of her blouse here. And we have to make sure that blouse comes away from her chest, right? And how we're going to do that is we're just going to kind of have the little cast shadow that's underneath. And we're going to do perpendicular and not parallel. Make sure you wipe off that freehand shield as you replace it. Because what could happen if you're working in ink or paint, it could kind of collect over here, and then when you reposition it, you're going to reposition the ink, and that's not going to be any fun. So my mistake, and this way, you know, you guys won't make it. I'll just warn you about the mistake, which will be really cool. And oh, Wendy has more phone and sprinkler and bookings. Well, that's good. That's busy. Busy is good. There we go. See how I'm bringing that over? And now, since I have the Extreme Patriot arrow, I'm going to go ahead and really get in there with some detail, just like on the very inside. See how I can get that little bit of a spidering? That's my fault. But you're not going to see that with the naked eye. And you see how we can really create that real feeling. So I'm going to lower my air pressure. But to the person who is receiving this airbrush, I can say, without a shadow of a doubt, it's ready for them to receive it and start doing great detailed work with it. So it doesn't leave my studio unless it gets to this stage. Now, I'm not going to go ahead, because with the naked eye you're not going to see that little bit of spidering. But what I'll do is, it dries really quick. I'm going to take the white pastel and I'm going to hit that edge real fast, like right here. And so now we're going to, and what that's doing is we're making that blouse come forward away from her chest, right? So we're creating that illusion, you know? So Wendy's afraid of spiders? Oh, okay. These spiders you can be afraid of too. Just make sure you don't have too many. I am going to be right back, guys. I'm just going to use the lavatory, and then we'll have our finishing moments of this. Talks amongst yourselves, guys. That wasn't too bad, guys, so that's good. So let's see, I am back, and this time it's personal. Oh, look at that. Clutch says he's a pro at spraying spiders, and Willie's afraid of spiders. And does getting bit hurt more than getting bitten? Oh, I don't know. And Air Todd says, well, guys, thanks for the super chats. Now I'm broke. Tim is happy. Thank you so much, Todd. I appreciate that. And you are the best. So thank you so much there, Todd. That is so cool. And Wendy says she would just like to burn the house down. Oh no, don't burn the house down. Better call, was it Orko or something? What is it? What is the, I think it's Orko here in the Northeast. But definitely, if you do get, an issue like that, and thank you, Todd, for matching the Super Chat stickers. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Just an amazing friend of the channel. Orkin, yes, the Orkin Army. So, yeah. I'm not like, I kind of respect all Orkin out west, too. Very cool. Terminex. I heard of Terminex. That's a national chain. Yeah, Orkin and Terminex. I'm the kind of guy who actually will capture the bug and then throw him out the window. I know, kind of a weirdo, but but mosquitoes you have to kill, unfortunately, right? Because I think mosquitoes are responsible for more deaths than any other animal. So yeah, the mosquitoes are the only ones. Anything else, I'll pretty much try and capture it and take it outside. Like we get these I get these little tiny stink bugs. They're so slow, and I used to grab them and put them down the toilet, and I just started feeling bad. So now I just grab them with a little coffee can, and then I just throw them out the window or something like that. This way they still have their life, but they're out of there. Paul, how you doing, my friend, with the Super Chat? Thank you so much, sir. Paul from Indiana, not too far from Fort Wayne. Go Irish, right? Notre Dame. So, Paul, are you a Purdue fan, or are you more of a Notre Dame fan or Hoosier fan? So that's always good. That's a great place. Indiana is for United States, that's a very history-rich state for sports, right? Clutch says making dots math hard. Thank you, Paul, for the support. I really appreciate it. That means so much to the channel, and I'm just so excited. I got some really great ideas coming down the pike for the channel, and that is just so amazing. Thank you, Paul. Really appreciate that, sir. And yes, yay, Paul, right? You got a lot of cheers over here, Paul. Thank you. And Nameless says he's been known to do that, especially with crickets. Oh, you capture them and throw them out the window. Yes. Well, I kind of look at it this way. If I crush that bug, all the money in the world couldn't save him, so I might as well try and catch him. I guess the next thing, I'll rehabilitate him and send him to bug college. And Willie says it's a big blue bug on top of a building. You will see it. Wow. So what's a big blue bug? I want to know. What are big blue bugs? Crickets are a delightful source of protein. Yes, I think it was, what was it? On Shark Tank, these girls were selling cricket potato chips. Potato chip style chips made out of crickets. I mean, interesting. And Airtime says, okay, he's doing it. That's it, 75 cents. That's funny. And Wendy says she almost bought some cricket chips, but better judgment. You know, we Americans, we're not like other countries. They've got no problem eating bugs. We're just a little squeamish, aren't we? But it would be good if we ate them, because there would be so much less hunger in the United States. Going out back to get some crickets for dinner, you know, that would be interesting, to say the least. But we're so squeamish about bugs on a whole. And right here, I'm going to go ahead and do the collar, which is slightly lighter. So for that collar to stand out, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be about 6 inches away, and I'm going to lightly spray, and you see we're going to pull that. So if we have a light, if we want to make it stand out, we just got to darken the adjacent value. Remember, the adjacent value often describes the form more than the form itself. So that's one of my Timisms. And that will, if you continue saying that when you're painting, you can tell yourself, okay, that's not standing out. So, but if I darken just slightly what's next to it, then that's really going to make a big difference, right? And so Patrick says he's eaten tons of them. China trips will broaden your palette. I can imagine. That is so cool. And Nameless says, sounds like a tasty way to end up with a tapeworm. Oh my goodness. And don't do it, Wendy. That's what Willie says. And then the China. Let's see. Willie says hunger is not a problem in the States. Most are overweight. I'm a little overweight, yes. We do have that kind of problem here in the States, so definitely. But in different countries, right? But that's true. We don't have too much of a hunger problem, thank God. But they're, definitely around the world. And the way that the prices of food has been going up, right? It's kind of a shame. When I go to the supermarket, I have to be a lot more careful about what I buy now because everything is just so sky high. Hopefully that will go down, I hope. The price of food for everyone. And I know we're all seeing that at the supermarket. Like something that we do need, which is garbage bags. I used to get a 48 pack for like $4. That same 48 pack is almost $8. So a 50% increase. Really rough. So as you see here in her blouse, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work in the detail here on this side. So I'll do that off camera, and when we come back I'll show you how to spray it, right? So I'll just do the drawing off camera and it will come back, and there's a little bit of detail here, and I'll see if I can go ahead and do that for you. It might make a big difference. It's just maybe just a little more ornate. That would be nice. So I think we're going to do that when we come back for the final episode, which will be part 7 of painting Raquel. So the next week we're going to finish her up, which is wonderful. And let's see. Wendy says she's going to have to fast twice a week. Oh, make sure that your sugar levels are good, because that could be dangerous for us. Wendy says that everything has doubled. Gas went down a bit. Yeah, because the price of oil went down because of demand. A lot of people, it has to do with the airlines, and the supply is really, whoop, I got a little wet over there, but that will dry. I'll help it along with some air. That's a great thing with an airbrush. You have the air, right? You just have this portable wind that could really help you, and use that in your painting. So I'm really loving how her blouse is coming, and I'm going to come over here to her sleeve, and again we have this part right here where the light is really touching, and it's kind of a strong light. So I'm going to come in with my Fons and Porter, and I'm really going to put a blast of light here. Same thing here. I want to accentuate this rim light here, right? That's behind her. And what that's going to do, it's going to really describe and bring her forward from the background. And that's a photography technique. And again, that whole thing is learn photography, my friend. It's easier than learning how to paint, but it's going to help your painting so much. I just can't tell you. And if you have any questions, I'm learning, and I could always share information with everybody. So, you know, definitely let me know what material to get, what flashes to get, all those different things. I'm going to accentuate this rim light. See that, how I bring that forward? And actually, I don't want, I have it, her shoulder coming out, but it should be going in, her arms going in. And it's just much more pleasing. So I'm just going to bring this in like this, and that's going to be much cuter. And you see how I bring in that arm? See that? And bring that in, which is really nice, and it just makes for a much more pleasing portrait, right? And let's see, I can do 5 hours and finish her today. Very true, I could. And Wendy says, so you can suffer that much longer. and so Air Todd says, okay, it will let him do it. And so Clutch says, do it. And Wendy says she likes the contrast. Me too. You see how I'm bringing that? And you see how we're really starting to get the emotion that, you know, when I took this photo of Raquel, and that's why I picked this photo, because of the wonderful emotion that she had. Wendy, have a great night. Great to see you. It's 11:30. Thank you, Wendy. And Cody, take care. Willie, take care. Everybody, we did it. We hit 11:30, so that is fantastic. Everyone have a great night. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for the Super Chat stickers. You guys are amazing. You really make everything so much more positive for me. And I'm just excited for the next one. You guys are all amazing. If you have any questions, I'm going to put this in the stream, right? I'm going to put this in the comments. paintedglyphs@gmail.com. Whether it's about photography, airbrush, you let me know, and I will take care of you. Squeeze, thank you so much for your support and everything. You're amazing, Bob, and thank you for the quote, and Todd and Brad and everybody. You guys are amazing. Mr. Paul, everyone, Honey, everyone who gave the Super Chat stickers. Colette, I know I'm missing you if I miss anybody, but I just want to say thank you, everybody. You guys are amazing. Brad and Bob and Honey, and so I know there's somebody I'm missing, but thank you. Every one of those super chats are just amazing. I'm just feeling so uplifted. Take care, guys. God bless, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you, Patrick. Yes, Patrick was another one. And I will see you, Willie, and everybody. Have a great night. Oh, don't forget, Saturday night, 8 o'clock, right here, we're doing the pastel live stream. So that's going to be a lot of fun. If you have time, I'd love to see yous. Bye, guys.